Just double checking everything here. Looks a little blurry. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it is a little blurry. Sorry, we're delayed on getting started here. No, wrong way. Okay. Hmm. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studio. The lead stories: Russia follows the Chinese and blows up a satellite. Turns out during the AT&T merger of Time Warner, AT&T refused to listen to anyone at Time Warner. Tesla, their cars are shipping without some parts. And Facebook, aka Meta, has been hit with its first lawsuit. I want to welcome you to episode 1569 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, November 15th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider by becoming a Geek News Central Insider. I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking the show out for the first time. If you're watching live or watching the video, all you got to do is head over, or regardless of where you're listening, go over to geeknewscentral.com. And on the right-hand column of the website, you're going to find a place to subscribe or follow the podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Subscribe on Android, iHeart, Stitcher, Blueberry.com, JioSaavn, Ghana, iTunes, TuneIn. Where else? My gosh, it's just a podcast index. You can even get subscribed to listen to the show via email. Really, there's a way to listen to the show. Wherever you consume podcasts, this show is at. And we want you to do that. Of course, we want you to get signed up for the newsletter as well. The newsletter's on the website. That will deliver you the show notes directly to your inbox immediately following the show. Do those two things and you'll be fully engaged here. If you want to go to the next level, join our chat room at geeknews.chat or our Discord channel. That link is in the show notes. Of course, we have a Slack channel as well. And if you want to join that, that's real simple. All you got to do is contact me via email, geeknews@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at geeknews. Following the trend here, a lot of geek news there. And of course, you can follow me on Facebook by searching for my name. Partner shows are all linked at geeknewscentral.com, whether it be the new media show, whether it be the Pro Gear Guru site, the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain. We've got the GNC Live. Of course, live is always live at live.geeknewscentral.com. And, of course, the GNC Week in Review done by Scott and Kirk. Of course, good job on Kirk getting the show prepped today. He had to rush out to a doctor's appointment, so he was bada bing, bada boom, in and out. But most importantly, this show is sponsored by the longest-running continuous sponsor of our podcast, and that's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. I want to thank GoDaddy for their ongoing support and devotion to this show. We definitely appreciate it. And all the GoDaddy promo codes are available today at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Whether it be a 30% off new product purchase code, whether it be a $4.99.com or new transfer domains for new customers, or $2.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, we've got the deals. We've also got a $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. And we've got a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business to business plus plans all in one. So there is something there for someone and everyone. 30% off new product purchases, $4.99.com or newer transfer, $2.99 a month economy or managed hosting for, again, with a free domain, and that free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder. What does that do? When you use my promo codes, you support this show. That's the most important thing. You support the show. Allow me to pay my rent, keep electricity on, everything that's going on here. So get over there, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Long time, of course, again, thank you to GoDaddy for being a long time sponsor of the show. And we'll move on. It's kind of an abrupt end, wasn't it? Run out of stuff to say. Hard to believe. As a reminder, this studio was designed by our friends at audimute.com, AUDIMUTE.com. Not obligated to say that anymore, but hey, Kevin and the team over there are fantastic. So if you're ever looking for some sound conditioning for your office or business or studio, definitely talk to them first. Obviously, No Shave November continues. I'm looking quite scraggly, although it's softening up a little bit. So not too bad, 15 days in. But those of you that aren't watching, you don't care. But if you're on Facebook or on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or wherever you may be watching tonight, be sure to check in. Be sure to say hello. We want you to do that. That's the most important thing so that I know that you care. Hey, renovations are finished in the loft. I've got version 2.0 of the loft all set up. I'll put some pictures up at some point. But Wednesday, I blast out of here. Wednesday, early out of Detroit, fly to Hawaii. I've got an appointment with a dermatologist on Wednesday, and they're going to put a big hole in my back. And then I've got to pick up some prescriptions and a variety of things, and then I'm going to be doing a quick turnaround and right back here, leave Friday late afternoon, and then back Saturday. And then Monday morning, I'm off to Columbus. I'll be down there Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. Haven't quite determined if I'm going to be down there 3 days, but definitely Monday and Tuesday. No show this coming Thursday. So the next show will be from my Columbus office. And again, next show in Columbus is a week from today. So no show. Kirk, I know you sent me a message if you were covering. Nope, we're not going to do a show on Thursday. Going to keep try to stay within a little bit in the budget this month. Yes, there is a budget for Kirk gets paid extra when he does a show standalone, but it's just it is what it is. But I'll be maybe a quick trip to Honolulu. I've got to do some work on my son's car. Matter of fact, tomorrow I pick up an alternator. Yes, I'm flying to Hawaii with an alternator. Cheaper to buy it here and take it, change it out, and bring it back. He's got some other issues going on. We had a near meltdown the other night with a crisis with his older vehicle. So going to have to do some wrenching while I'm there, and maybe it's going to end up in the shop. May need a new clutch. It's a manual. So that's not something that I'm equipped to do. That is for sure. Not especially within the time I have there. So we'll see if we can get that car to the point where we can get it back roadworthy for him. But anyway, that's what's going on. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking. It is a Red Bull Monday. I was, how should we say it? Out in the woods early today and posted a encounter I had with a little, depends on which coast you're on. Here on the East Coast, we count all the points. I know those of you on the West Coast, you only count one set of antlers points. But white-tailed deer, a little 4-point, a little small buck that came up relatively close to the stand I was in. And he was so small. There was just no way. He's gave him a pass and kind of played around with him. He hung out quite a bit. He was a second pass before I got my camera out, and about 3.5 minutes of me kind of at him, making him stop and look. He couldn't figure out. Well, he kind of finally figured out where I was. I think he smelt me, but he doesn't need to be that curious, or he will end up in someone's freezer this year. So, but I didn't do anything to scare it or anything. I just let it go on its way. So, anyway, that was first day of official deer hunting season here in Michigan, and there has been literally thousands and thousands of deer that have been hit this year by cars. It's been a bad season for automobiles and deers. The population is just way, 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 way up. So the state has set some pretty significant harvest quotas. So we'll see what happens. But nothing for me this morning, and it just was not willing to take a small deer. I just didn't think it was fair. Heard there was a couple albinos in the area too. There's no way I could harvest two of those either. I would that's just too rare of a deer to do that. But some idiot probably will, I'm sure. But anyway, let's move on, get into the content tonight. I got a good stack of information here, and the first thing up really troubles me in a big way. Microsoft is blocking a workaround. Let Windows 11 users avoid its Edge browser. Apps like Edge Deflector will not be able to redirect start menu results directly. They plan to update Windows 11 to block a workaround that has allowed you, the user of that operating system, to open start menu search results in a browser other than Edge. The loophole, again, was popularized by Edge Deflector, and Microsoft said, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. Before this week, companies like Mozilla and Brave had planned to implement similar workarounds to allow users to open start menu results in their respective browsers, but will not be able to do so. So they thought it was a bug originally, but Microsoft has confirmed it intentionally closed the loophole. They said Windows openly enables applications and services on its platform, including various web browsers. A spokesperson for Microsoft. At the same time, Windows also offers a certain end-to-end customer experience in both Windows 10 and Windows 11. The search experience from the taskbar is one such example of an end-to-end experience that is not designed to be redirected. When we became aware of the improper redirection, we issued a fix. Daniel, the developer of Edge Deflector, was quick to criticize the move. He says, these aren't the actions of an attentive company that cares about its products anymore, he said in a blog post. Microsoft isn't a good steward of the Windows operating system. They're prioritizing ads, bundleware, and service subscriptions over their users' productivity. Mozilla has also was similarly critical of Microsoft. They said people deserve a choice. They should have the ability to simply and easily set defaults, and their choice of default browser should be respected. A spokesman for the company told The Verge, we have worked on code that launches Firefox when the Microsoft Edge protocol is used. For those users that have already chosen Firefox as their default browser, following the recent changes to Windows 11, this planned implementation will no longer be possible. So this action does raise questions about Microsoft's priorities. They want you to use Edge at all costs. They want to shove it down your throat. Yes, they do. And I'm lucky. I don't have any Windows 11 machines. I don't have to use Edge. I'm still pretty much a heavy Chrome user. Use Firefox as well on occasion. But why oh my. The Russians, there should be international outrage. The International Space Station crew were told to hide to a threat of space debris. This is a real deal. This was not planned. They didn't know it was coming. And ground control in both Russia and the United States ordered the crew to briefly hide inside their spacecrafts. The crew members are allowed to resume work after the debris. Reportedly, a part of a satellite flew past the ISS. The ISS maneuvered on Wednesday to avoid a collision with pieces of a Chinese weather satellite that was destroyed in 2007. But this new weapons test was done by the Russians, and they blew up one of theirs. U.S. Space Command is still trying to determine the total impact. But it's interesting, this article from RT.com does not talk about why they had to avoid this new debris. It was because the Russians were very naughty and blew a satellite up as part of an anti-satellite missile test. So what's the deal here with the Russians causing more space debris? It's already bad enough, and they went and did this. Now let's be kind of realistic here. Hitting a satellite with a weapon can't be that complicated. It really can't. This thing is they're on a known trajectory, right? It's just a matter of getting from point A to point B. And they could do that without having to blow up a satellite, but that's what they did. I don't understand the thought process here. This is bad news. It really, really is bad news on what the Russians have done here. Just as bad as the Chinese. So time will tell what the overall impact was. But they've had to raise the space station about 12 kilometers recently, again, to avoid debris. And all it takes is just a tiny little bit of peace, and it's going to be a very bad day for a lot of people. Moving on to the next topic here. There's a blistering story about AT&T refusing to listen to anybody at Time Warner after buying it, their ex-CEO says. AT&T ignored Time Warner executives' opinions despite having no experience in those areas. So apparently, this is probably pretty common for AT&T. They think they are smarter than everyone else. See how far that's took him so far, right? Apparently, Wall Street Journal received an advance copy of the book that is called Tinderbox, HBO's Ruthless Pursuit of New Frontiers, which will be released on November 23rd. And basically, prior HBO executives just are blistering. The most disappointing thing to me about the AT&T merger, Mr. Bukes, B-D-E-W-K-S, Bukes is quoted in the book as saying, is that he and his board thought AT&T would basically leave our people alone. That didn't happen. We didn't think they would go to such a level of malpractice as to not listen to anybody, even though they themselves had no experience in those areas. He doesn't express regret over the decision to sell to AT&T. He said he is angry about how his team of top executives and staff were treated. Well, I think he got about $98 million as a departure gift, so he can't be too unhappy. Meanwhile, AT&T is spinning off Time Warner division this year, and they're going to spin it to a new company. Time Warner's AT&T struck a deal with Discovery to combine Warner's Media and Discovery's asset into a standalone global entertainment company, and said the transaction would close in mid-2022. With AT&T having also spun off DirecTV into a subsidiary, the telecom will focus on what should have prioritized all along, and that's broadband. And we know that AT&T has eliminated tens of thousands of jobs across its media and telecom division after the Time Warner merger. AT&T had 273,210 employees immediately after buying Time Warner in mid-2018 and 226,840 as of June 30, 2021. The AT&T employee count dropped to 214,000 after the DirecTV spinoff was completed in August. So he says if you're in a acquisition and somebody pays a premium for your stock, by definitions mean something has to change, Stanky is quoted as saying in Miller's book. If you paid premium for an operation, continue to operate exactly the same way, you'd never pay back the premium. So that was their excuse. So a lot of bad blood there. That is for sure. Sean says, yep, Russia wants everyone to know they can still shoot down satellites. Well, that's the first one they've done. So, they don't shoot them down. They explode. They don't really go anywhere, except many directions. It's not like an airplane. Shoot an airplane, it goes down. It's affected by gravity. Satellites, depending on their orbit, are not affected by gravity too much. And it takes literally 20, 30, 40, 50 years for issues like this to resolve themselves. Well, I run out of free trial watches on Business Insider. I actually had to give him my email today, much to my chagrin. So I will be flagging any Business Insider emails to go into my junk folder automatically because I had to sign up for their notifications to produce this show and be able to report what Tesla is saying. So Tesla is reportedly shipping some new Model 3 and Model Y vehicles without a USB port. One user said customer support told him Tesla would fit the USB port for free after delivery because they can't get chips. They have chip shortages as the reasons customers claim on social media. 3 posts on Reddit and 3 on Tesla Motor Club forum mention new Teslas arriving without USB-C ports. One Reddit user uploaded a photo on Saturday that said they showed 2 missing USB ports in the center console of their new Model 3. They also wrote in a post that the wireless charging function wasn't working. Don't feel bad. It took me 2 months to get a chip to make my Wi-Fi work inside my vehicle again. It's epidemic on chip shortages. So Tesla has a little bit of an issue. Facebook, now Meta, just got hit with its first major lawsuit since a whistleblower showed a trove of internal documents. The state of Ohio's Attorney General filed a lawsuit against Meta, formerly known as Facebook on Monday, accusing the company of violating federal securities law by failing to disclose internal research about its platform was harmful on children. And they're being sued because they did not reveal this to investors. The case was filed on behalf of the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System. Facebook investors have collectively lost more than $100 billion in market share since employee-turned-whistleblower Frances Haugen first leaked internal documents to the Wall Street Journal. Facebook said it was looking out for our children and weeding out online trolls, but in reality it was creating misery and divisiveness for profit, Yost said in a press release. We are not people to Mark Zuckerberg. We are product, and we're being used against each other out of greed. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There is no more true statement than that. Let me read that again. This guy nailed it. Facebook said it was looking out for our children and weeding out online trolls, but in reality was creating misery and divisiveness for profit. Yost said in a press release, we are not people to Mark Zuckerberg. We are the product, and we are being used against each other out of greed. When you don't pay for something and it's free, you are the product. I tell podcasters this all the time as well that use free podcasting services. You are the product. It's just crazy what people do. And here we're streaming live on Facebook. So you're the product of my show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So what say you? What do you think about the state of Ohio going after them to recover? He hopes to recover the pension fund losses with the lawsuit, as well as ensure that the company makes significant reforms to avoid misleading the public again. A Facebook representative said this suit is without merit, and we will defend ourselves vigorously. So this finally is likely the first major lawsuit against the company. And it's probably not going to be the last. The company has maintained that documents do not paint a complete picture of Meta and its safety efforts. Its share price has fallen 9% since the first Facebook Papers reports began to publish in September. So again, what say you? What's all your opinions on this? Geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the place to send your commentary. Do you feel you're the product? Wait till I tell you some more Facebook stuff a little bit later on in the show, and you may consider my words more carefully. Amazon is unveiling Black Friday starting in November 25th. The retail giant says customers can count on reliable delivery times this holiday season. So 40 hours of deals as part of his Black Friday shopping event starting on November 25th. Be presenting with thousands of deals on items like electronics, toys, kitchen items, and Alexa-powered devices. Amazon Money said it made investment in its fulfillment and transportation networks to ensure reliable delivery for customers this holiday season. The company also highlighted one-day and same-day delivery options available to Amazon Prime members who pay $119 a year for the subscription service. There's no same day here in Michigan. That doesn't exist, at least where I live. So they've got all kinds of stuff going on here. Link will be in the show notes if you want to see the list of stuff. Hey, I will say one thing on Meta, and I will agree with Jason Calacanis. People should not invest a dime of development into doing anything for Meta that involves virtual reality. Don't allow Facebook to dominate that world. Please not. Article of our own right here at Geek News Central. Facebook doesn't want you to have chronological news feed. So this is interesting. What's the most important thing you want to see when you log into Facebook? For many of us, it's posts from friends and family. Facebook is the easiest way to connect not only with relatives, but also people that you attend high school with. The Washington Post reported that Facebook has explored what happens when it turns off its controversial news feed ranking system, the software that decides for each user which posts they'll see and in what order. That leaves users to see all the posts from their friends in simple chronological order. According to the Washington Post, Facebook researchers decided that users are better off with Facebook software calling the shots. In its article, the Washington Post noted that the information from whistleblower Frank Hagen argued that Facebook's algorithm was central to Facebook's problems. It amplified and rewarded hateful, divisive, misleading, and sometimes outright false content by putting it top of users' feeds. Axios reported that a bipartisan group of House lawmakers introduced a bill that would require online platforms to let users opt out of having personal data-driven algorithms select the content they see. It is called the Filter Bubble Transparency Act. The purpose of the bill is to require the internet platforms to give users the option to engage with a platform without being manipulated by algorithms driven by user-specific data. There's also a Senate version of the Filter Bubble Transparency Act. It's also bipartisan. The bill would require large-scale internet platforms that collect data from more than 1 million users and gross more than 50 million per year to provide greater transparency to consumers and allow users to view content that has not been curated as a result of some algorithm. Senator John Thune stated on his website that the Filter Bubble Transparency Act would make it easier for internet platform users to understand the potential manipulation that exists with secret algorithms and require large-scale platforms to allow those users to consume information outside of that potential manipulation zone or filter bubble. I hope this goes through. He says, in my opinion, this is my writer. Jen says, personally, I've always thought that the algorithms used by social media companies are manipulative. In my opinion, non-chronological algorithms are used to invoke rage and or fear in users and also are a pipeline to spread misinformation. We'd all be emotionally healthier if we could opt out of the imposed algorithm and into a chronological timeline of self-selected topics and users. I agree completely. So, again, this is an article on Geek News Central. I hope you'll like the post, cross-post it on Facebook. Please do so. This helps our Google algorithms drive traffic to the piece. T-Mobile has said it has hit its 2021 goal of faster 5G coverage for 200 million people. I'm telling you one thing they haven't done is expand coverage. They may have better 5G nationwide, but they sure the heck don't have great rural coverage. I'm just going to say that. So if you live in a heavy populated area, congratulations. You have 200 million people in their coverage area. You get faster cellular network. Well, guess what? It's only in heavily populated areas, not on the fringe. That is for sure. Because T-Mobile on the fringe sucks. It really does. The cheapest Tesla Model Y now costs over $60,000 with latest price increases. Tesla has jacked up the price of the electric SUV for the 8th time this year. Wow. It's $17,000 more expensive than a year earlier. People are still flocking to buy this vehicle. That's amazing. So, and there's hardly any tax rebates anymore because of they already hit their cap on 200,000 vehicles. So, you guys love Teslas. Paying out some big money for those vehicles. Google has reportedly cancels the Pixel Fold, but hasn't given up on foldables. Well, how many of you have got a foldable? I'd love to hear from you. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or what? Lucid Motors' first car, a $169,000 electric sedan, is Motor Trend's Car of the Year. Why? How can it be Motor Trend's Car of the Year when only like 1/10 of 1% of people can afford a $169,000 vehicle? Come on. That's not... Okay, it's a car of the year. For who? The rich. Just the rich. Not even famous. You have to be rich. $169,000. It's the first time a car maker has won the award with the very first model. $169,000. Come on. There's houses cheaper than that. Ladies, SOS raises $3.4 million to add some pizzazz to your local tampon vending machine. They basically have got a bunch of patents, and they're going around offering health and wellness products and vending machines in bathrooms that basically have touch screens. They're visually rich advertising and marketing, and they report when they're getting low so they can be restocked. SOS machines have been installed in a number of venues around Boston, including Fenway Park, Prudential Center, Boston Children's Hospital, State Street corporate offices, as well as FLA Live Arena in Sunrise, Florida. And they've got 5 patents on this new vending machine, and they're hoping that'll stave off the competition while they build out. So, SOS. Very cool name for a company. Asus, now listen to this one. Asus takes us back to 2019 with a new laptop, but it has a GTX 1650 card in it. And an RTX 3050. Yes, those are 2019 graphics cards. Because they can't get modern, new graphics cards. They're not available. So, this is again more sign of the times. So maybe if you're going to buy a new Windows laptop, maybe it's time to wait. If you can't get a modern day graphics card in it, it's like you're already starting 2 years behind. Honestly, let's reconsider that. Amazon has released Prime app for Mac with downloads, AirPlay, and more. It supports Mac OS Big Sur and later. So if you're an Amazon Prime user, you can download this now and on your MacBook and get hooked up with the Amazon videos that you can download and watch later. SpaceX has launched some Starlink satellites to improve global access to internet. They actually launched this out of Florida. A Falcon 9 lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on Saturday and deployed 53. They didn't take a full load. 53 of Starlink's. I think this is they've had to deburn some. So I wonder if these are to fill the gaps. But they use, of course, another reusable first stage. And but most of their launches are going to be out of the West Coast. But this is 53 out of NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Pretty cool. So they've had to deorbit some. So anyway, but they've had a whole host of launches here. They had a recovery. They had a launch to the International Space Station. Now they've got a Starlink launch. And, no word on Starlink for me yet. I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's because they've got shortage on chips too. So they can only make 5,000 terminals a week right now. So, late this year is fast approaching for my area. The autonomous vehicles are quite the thing, but an autonomous work vehicle is a little bit different. Honda is showing off the latest version of its autonomous work vehicle, the off-road AV, which operators can also remotely control, can carry a payload of up to 880 pounds. That's it. Why, if you're going to have a autonomous work vehicle and it only can carry 880 pounds, there's something wrong with this. This was the first test in which several AWVs were working together. The vehicles towed trailers and carried construction materials, water, and other supplies across a 1,000-acre work site. The EWV, again, can carry up to 880 pounds and tow a trailer up to 653 pounds. And it's pretty slow. Has a range of 27.9 miles. But if you're going to have a work vehicle, better be able to carry more than 800 pounds. Sometimes 800 pounds is a toolbox. This is the weirdest article I think I've seen in a long time. NASA scientists, listen to this. NASA scientists hope singing trees could help us reach another planet. They're calling the project the Tree of Life. This is bizarre. A spacecraft in low Earth orbit singing a duet with trees down on Earth sounds like a scene out of a bizarre science fiction film. But if a group of NASA scientists and artists have their way, it'll be a real-life collaboration lasting 200 years. The team-up of trees and machines, a public art science project called the Tree of Life, connects Earth and her outer space through a song, which is sent via radio waves between an orbiting spacecraft and an unlikely technological component, a set of live trees that have been activated to operate as a large living antenna system. It's a newly formed nonprofit dedicated to designing and fabricating sustainable technology that supports long-range space missions. Digital sensors will pick up the shifts in trees' environment, and custom software will translate those data points into sonic frequencies that beam to a small, distant spacecraft. In turn, the craft will beam back the data about its own operational capacity. As the light, water, and temperature at the trees change, so does the tune, the volume, and the actual song of the song. Okay. Huh. They're trying to figure out how to go many light years away and outlive the tech. Okay, I'm lost. How about you guys? A link will be in the show notes. It's just, we'll call that the bizarro one of the day. iPhone 14 rumors. Will a foldable iPhone hit shelves in 2022? Probably not, but the most credible rumors suggest it will be a reality sooner rather than later. I'll pass. I really am not interested in having a foldable phone. But one thing I am interested in is something very cool here. And this is an awesome new product. TD Pilot, which many folks that are disabled will already know about. TD Pilot will let people with disabilities control iPads with their eyes. This is the first assistive eye tracking option outside of Windows. This is the first assistive eye tracking option outside of Windows. And it's all because of iOS 15. And so if any of you know anyone that is basically completely immobile and are using their eyes to control different software packages, TD Pilot has got this now for the iPad. So this is very exciting here. This isn't exactly new territory for the company. It's been producing popular Windows power-assisted devices for years, but as CEO Frederick Rubin tells Engadget, TD Pilot gives users with disabilities the same sort of flexibility that the non-disabled have. Some may not need the full power of Windows PC, or maybe they just rather deal with the simpler interface of an iPad. TD Pilot users will also be able to use eye tracking to play some iPad OS games, so long as they don't require extremely rapid movement. I apologize. It's not the first support for iPad. But this is the first one. Oh, it's there's other assistive stuff out there, but this is more 100% eye tracking. So, all right, very, very cool. Not cheap, but this assistive type stuff never is. Link will be up in the show notes for you to check it out. The FBI got hacked. FBI probes cyber attack emails sent from an internal FBI server. The government agency said the incident on Saturday morning was part of an ongoing situation. The message purported to be from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. They claimed it to be a warning about a supposed threat, were titled Urgent Threat Actors in System. The emails told recipients they were targeted of a sophisticated chain attack from an extortion group known as Dark Overlord, according to the nonprofit anti-spam watchdog Spamhaus. They're causing a lot of disruption because the headers are real. They really are coming from FBI infrastructure. Spamhaus tweeted, adding that they did not include the names or contact information from the sender. According to U.S. media reports, more than 100,000 emails were sent out. So the hardware was quickly taken offline, but people got a notification from the FBI. There was an issue, but it was because of a hacked machine. Figures. A lost piece of the moon has been discovered orbiting the Earth and Sun. Scientists think the quasi-satellite may have been blasted off the lunar surface. Every April for a few weeks, the faint glow of a near-Earth asteroid curiously shimmers on scientists' telescopes. Religiously catching the annual event, a group of astronomers pieced together a surprising revelation about the little shard. It doesn't appear to be any old space rock. It looks like a broken piece of the moon. So they've done some studying here, and they did this from number of telescopes, I guess. But anyway, long story to this. There's a lot of text to this, but anyway. Probably it is a piece of the moon, but it's been in a Earth-Sun orbit. Apple's offering $30 million to settle off-the-clock bag search controversy. That's been going all the way back to 2013. So they say, here's $30 million, settle, take the money. Yes, we were supposed to pay you when we were searching your bags to make sure you weren't stealing trade secrets. So they're going to get some money. Maybe each person will end up with a quarter before it's all over. Apple's digital ID schemes comes with conditions and costs. Now, we've all heard about having a driver's license in your Apple Wallet. Apple's much promoted digital driver's license features comes at a cost to taxpayers, according to report. So Arizona, Connecticut, Georgia, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah have agreed to participate, but they bear the burden of maintaining the feature at taxpayers' expense. U.S. states and Apple retains control over when the features launch and what devices are compatible, but state agencies are responsible for maintaining the relevant computer systems and legal compliance, and Apple stipulates how they report on its performance. So states don't ever do well in performance, so maybe Apple's right in doing this, but yes, you're going to be able to show your driver's license on your phone. Just what you need to do, right? Most Americans now aware of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, a survey shows. A Pew Research Center survey shows that while nearly everyone knows about cryptocurrencies, only a small percentage of people actually use them. 86% said they heard at least a little bit about cryptocurrencies, included 24% of those surveyed who said they'd heard a lot about crypto, but just 16% reported personally investing or trading or otherwise using a cryptocurrency. Speaking of which, why are Bezos and others selling off big chunks of their stock? Is there something out there about to happen in the stock market? How Xbox outgrew the console. There's a interview here. And Phil Spencer saved Xbox. Now he wants to reinvent gaming ahead of Xbox 20th anniversary. They sat down with him. And Microsoft Gaming A-Team discussed their widely ambitious future, including Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming, Halo Infinite, The Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity, and more. And this is a pretty big interview. So those of you that are gamers, I am not. I have no idea what most of this stuff even means, except it costs money. So this is an article over on GQ. Haven't had a GQ article in years. But for you gamers out there, you're going to want to check this interview out. Another company. Turn off your ad blocker. Okay, I did. Disabled my ad blocker. This is a little dirty pool. Listen to this. Apple is quietly buying ads via Google for high-value subscription apps to capture app publisher revenue. Apple is secretly buying Google ads to collect potentially millions of dollars in subscription revenue. Multiple app publishers have told me Apple is placing the ads without the app developer's consent, and Google won't delete them. The cost, potentially millions of dollars in lost revenue, plus high advertising costs for their own campaigns. They say it's a form of ad arbitrage, and it's been going on for at least 2 years. Impacted businesses include major brands such as dating apps like Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Bumble, media giant HBO, education and learning publisher Masterclass, and language learning services like Babbel. The ads don't disclose that they're from Apple and would, to most observers, simply look like ads from the brands. However, they do have similar tracking links with near identical parameters that indicate one agency is likely passing them are, and they send you right to the App Store. Apple's trying to maximize the money they're making by driving in-app purchases that people buy through the Apple Store. One source who asked not be named for fear of retaliation. Apple's figured out that they can make more money off these developers if they push people to the App Store to purchase their versus a web flow. This is very dirty pool. This is really horrible. I can't believe it. So here's more on this story from Mac Rumors. Following allegations that Apple secretly buys ads for subscription-based apps to collect more commissions, Apple has now said that this is a mischaracterization and developers are fully aware of the ads it runs on their behalf. Apple has now clarified that it placed ads to promote products. It distributes it for 5 years now, and those ads are clearly marked as being from the App Store. Apple indicated it's no different from retailers running ads for the product they sell and is a very standard business model. Apple is granted conventional legal rights to advertise in this way in the agreement it has with developers. Apple said the allegation that it is secretly or quietly purchasing ads for developers without their knowledge or consent is an overt mischaracterization. On the contrary, the company says it regularly engages in conversation with developers about the ads it places, and many developers express their appreciation for the support. Wow. I still think it's dirty pool, especially for really popular apps. Does Tinder really need to advertise? Really? Pretty well-known date app, isn't it? Wow. Now, I just think it's dirty pool. I really do. Because they get to collect that 30% commission. Boy, oh boy. I would be pissed. All right, there's an article over in Ars Technica. I guess I am not familiar with what's going on here. DDR4 memory protections are broken wide open by a new row hammer technique. Researchers build fuzzer that supercharges potentially serious bit flipping exploits. Rowhammer exploits that allow unprivileged attackers to change or corrupt data stored in vulnerable memory chips are now possible on virtually all DDR4 modules due to a new approach that neuters defenses chip manufacturers added to make their wares more resistant to such attacks. Rowhammer attacks work by accessing or hammering physical rows inside the vulnerable chips millions of times per second in ways that cause bits in its neighboring rows to flip, meaning turns ones to zeros and vice versa. Research has shown that attacks can be used to give untrusted applications nearly unfettered system privileges, bypassing security sandboxes designed to keep malicious code from accessing sensitive operating system resources and root or infect Android devices, among other things. All previous rowhammer attacks have been hammered rows with uniform patches, such as single, double-sided, or n-sided. In all three cases, the aggressor rows, meaning those that cause bit flips, and nearly victim rows are accessed the same number of times. But this is new. And I had no clue this was going on. The effect of the previous rowhammer demonstrates have been serious. In one case, researchers were able to gain unrestricted access to all physical memory by flipping bits in the page table entry, which maps the memory address locations. The same research also demonstrated how untrusted applications could gain root privileges. Another case, researchers used rowhammer to pluck 2048-bit encryption key out of memory. Wow. PC, laptops, and mobile phones are most affected by the new findings. Cloud services such as AWS and Azure remain largely safe for rowhammer because they use higher-end chips that includes a defense known as ECC. The protection works by using what are known as memory words to store redundant control bits. ECC was originally designed to protect against a naturally occurring phenomenon in which cosmic rays flip bits in new or dim. After rowhammer appeared, ECC importance grew when it was demonstrated to be the most effective defense. DDR4 systems with ECC will likely be more exploitable after reverse engineering the ECC functions, researchers said. So, rowhammer, that's a new term for me. How about you? All right, let's go over here to email. I don't think there was any that came in, but double check. Nope. All right, so let's get out of here. geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. @geeknews on Twitter. Of course, don't forget my sponsor, GoDaddy, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you want to become an insider, do so. Become an insider today, geeknewscentral.com/insider. 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, or $25 a month or one-time donations are always appreciated. Every donation that is given to the show goes directly into paying the salaries and the budget of the writers. Every penny of that is turned right back into the show. Doesn't go to anything that we're doing here with lights and cameras and everything else. GoDaddy takes care of that right now. So, and only a portion of the writing and everything is covered by listener donations. So I definitely appreciate it when you do contribute to the show and become an ongoing supporter of the podcast. It's greatly appreciated. How you guys been liking the pre-rolls that you've been getting? Some of you get them, some of you don't. Again, it's an ongoing test. I have had no negative feedback. And I know that you've been hearing all kinds of different stuff because I've been seeing the report. But no one has said anything negative yet. So for those of you that listen to the audio, what have you been thinking of the pre-rolls? Tell me what you're hearing. I want to know the variety of stuff because I don't get the stuff until weeks later. So let me know what you're hearing for ads on the pre-roll. Again, this is part of a test I'm doing. Actually not making any money on that. Okay, just to let you know that. So I'm being the testing agent, I guess, for better words. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the family. Thanks for watching the show, listening to the show. It's been my pleasure to bring it to you. I'll be back with you a week from today from our Columbus office. No show on Thursday. Listen to one of the shows on geeknewscentral.com, one of the partner shows. Until next time, everyone, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.